Welcome back to Packer Net. JJ Leahy, Ryan Schlip, and Jake Shavink. Actually, Jake is not here yet. He's tardy as usual. Jake. We are 19 minutes late getting rolling with this because Jake kept telling us 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Sorry, Jake, you're going to have to hop in mid-pod because we got lives to live and beds to get to. Ryan, the Turkey Day game, it's pretty good. Hey, there's Jake. Nice to see you, boy. Do you think that this game changed your opinion of where the Green Bay Packers season is heading? Everything on social media right now is all about, playoff calculator. Has anything changed for you right now before this Chiefs game?
Yeah, it does change because it felt like for a while we weren't going to win very many more games, and now where we're sitting, especially beating the Lions, I don't think we're going to lose very many more games. So I'm not going to predict a win over the Chiefs, but even if we lose to the Chiefs, it's mostly wins from here on out, especially watching that absolute disaster of a game with the Bears and the Vikings, which were pretty much the only other 2 games where I was like, I don't know, we'll see how those guys are faring. But those 2 teams are a joke, and the Panthers are terrible, and the Giants are terrible. So, yeah, I mean, it's the Chiefs, and if they pull this out, then I don't see why they couldn't potentially win out.
Speaking of terrible and Panthers, Jake, one of the big talking points today has been like, is David Tepper, the owner of the Panthers, the worst NFL owner in the league? Not really sure where this came from, other than that he fired everybody, when there's still a lot of games left to be played. Do you think that is wrong? Do you think they should have let Frank Reich finish out the season?
I think the biggest thing with the Panthers is Tepper's going to do what Tepper wants to do. He's gone through a few coaches now. It's very clear that he wanted immediate results. He was big on Bryce Young, and still is. I don't think Reich was necessarily the problem there. I think there's serious dysfunction. I think there was a lot of There was, and it was reported that there was plenty of back and forth on who the quarterback should have been. There was obviously that 3-team deal in place where the Bears would move down from 1 to 2 and then down to 2 to 9. And the Texans were going to take Young at 1, which meant the Panthers were going to be left with Stroud. It was very clear that the QB coach, who has now been fired, Josh McCown, was a big fan of Stroud. It just seems like Tepper's basically like, all right, if you're not in on Young and you weren't in on Young, you're out. And that's just kind of where it is right now. It's going to be a very interesting hiring process. They're already talking about Ben Johnson again, as if he didn't just spurn the Panthers the last cycle around. So someone will take the challenge on, but it's got to be someone ambitious and is just ready to kind of maybe retire with all the money, because Tepper's impatience knows no bounds.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to make the case that Ben Johnson spurned them once, so he would spurn them again. But have you considered the $25 million that Frank Reich gets paid to not coach the Panthers? I would take that job in a heartbeat, because you can't fail. If they fire you, you can sit on your couch and make boatloads of money. I don't see how you lose this.
That's fine, but also if the Chargers asked as well, I know where I'm picking, and it's not close. So and based on what Schefter has said the last couple of days, there's going to be a lot of openings. I don't know how that isn't last on my list. Maybe New England is last because they got a whole lot of nothing up there, and if they don't get one of the top 2 slots, they might not get a chance at a quarterback in this draft, of the top 2. But if I'm Ben Johnson and Tepper's calling me, but at the same time the Chargers are calling and I get to work with Herbert, it's not even a discussion. I'd be like, I don't know this Charlotte number. Palm trees it is. See ya. So.
Well, here's one question. With the firing of Frank Reich and you get all this shakeup, you might look at the Carolina situation as Tepper wants to tank and improve the draft pick that they don't have, but maybe they're actually going to get better. And the Packers do play them in 4 weeks on Christmas Eve. Do they have enough talented players on the roster that no matter who the interim coach is, the Packers should at all be concerned about this game?
No. Sorry. This is the game where I think like Jordan Love of, week 3, 4, 5, and 6 could show up and they're still winning by 10. I'm not sure it matters. I think you could, like, the way Aquana's been playing in pass protection, it is a mess right now. Thielen's age is clearly catching up at receiver. Mingo has no clue what he's doing out there at all. It is awful to watch. It has been like, just think about all the guys that the Carolina Panthers passed on to take Mingo. Like, we're talking about Reed, right? Is one of those. We're talking about Downs. We're talking about obviously Puka, Tank Dell, like all these guys who are playing well. And you took the guy who, let's be honest, was extremely raw and like got ridiculously unfair comparisons to AJ Brown. And it made no sense. They were not the same player just because they were the same body type, whatever. But like, they have very few players where I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be a problem. Like, I get it. Their defensive line's nice. They got a couple studs there. Derek Brown's having a great year, but like, there's nothing about this team where I go, we should be singing the praises of Joe Barry after this game. That offense is inept. I don't think they have solutions on the roster right now. I think Green Bay offensively could score 6 points and win the game significantly. It is that
the
bad.
Iowa Hawkeye strategy.
Yeah, they could probably pull that off and win by 12. Like, it is bad. It is bad.
Ryan, they score 6 points and win by 12
on offense. Yeah, offense could go kick 2 field goals. They're going to win by double digits. It's so bad down there right now. So bad.
Ryan, would you take the Carolina Panthers head coaching job? And do you think that Kyle's dad could rescue them?
I would take pretty much any job that pays a significant amount of money. I mean, it would suck because you would have millions of people hate you with a passion. But I would just block it out, stay off social media, and hire people to basically do all my work for me. And as soon as I get fired, like you said, just take my millions of dollars and go do something else.
I shared a screenshot here of Kyle's dad. Do you think that he could rescue the Panthers?
I don't know who can. I don't know if Bill Walsh could, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure. It's going to take like them actually hitting on some of these picks. Like, obviously they're going to have pick 33. I don't think anybody's disputing that at this point. Like, they're going to have that pick. Man, they got to figure it out. Luckily, the receiver class looks good for them. The tackle class looks good for them. Like, they can hopefully make some big moves in the draft and really boost the offense. But I don't know. There's something with Young right now that is just not clicking. And again, someone ambitious will take it. It's going to be interesting to watch how short his leash is with Tepper there at the helm. So
what are you guys' thoughts now that we've seen Jordan Love really string together 4 pretty darn good performances in the last 5 games? Thoughts on Jordan Love?
I'm trying to temper excitement. I want to start jumping up and down because all the things that I hoped I would see, I'm starting to see. But it still feels, I guess it kind of feels impossible that it's going to remain good. So I'm kind of just enjoying the positive as it is, and I'm just kind of waiting for the inevitable downfall. And I don't know why that's the way that I'm approaching this, but that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, he's playing really well. He continues to get better every single week. And I just feel like what we saw in this last game is not going to be what we see the rest of the season. But I really, really want it to be. So we'll see. I mean, I think we've already crossed the threshold of, is he going to be replaced? I mean, the only way that was going to happen is if he was completely garbage this entire season. That hasn't happened. He could be pretty bad the rest of the year, and I think he gets another year out of it. But it's kind of just a matter of if he can continue to play this way for the rest of the year, I think at that point I'm going to be pretty much all in on Jordan Love.
Jake, what differences have you seen in the way Jordan Love has been playing? Is it just a matter of the guys around him doing a better job and, a rising tide lifts all ships? Or is Jordan elevating the offense?
I think it's a bit of both. I know that's the easy answer to throw out there. But it's very clear that Reed has found the stride. He is doing a lot of different things for them. It's very Randall Cobb-esque right now, and they're giving him all those touches. Watson showing up on Thanksgiving is huge, and I think even though that first deep ball obviously was underthrown, I think you're seeing just more confidence there, and I think that reflects in the completion percentage that he's had. Either it's over the past 5 weeks or the past 4, where you've seen just a giant uptick in the completion percentage, and it looks like from all indications on target percentage as well on the deep ball, and that's going to be crucial against the Chiefs and the Vikings, who are going to blitz, who are going to protect the short stuff, protect the middle of the field. Spags, especially next Sunday night, is going to dare you to throw it deep outside the numbers. That's where the Chiefs get vulnerable. You kind of saw the Eagles take advantage of that in the Super Bowl, hitting those deep ones to Brown and Smith, like they're going to have to do that. But he just looks, he looks calm. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. Like there is not a whole lot that's phasing him. Doesn't look like he's ever leaving anything too early or too late. It just feels like he has found zen in the offense. And that's obviously partially, in part due to somehow like successful rotations at right guard and left tackle. No idea how that's working. And also the receivers. And just, I think, a testament to either the coaching and just the players themselves, just clearly like trusting each other on offense and just every week taking a couple steps at a time.
I do want to say welcome to the chat. We got Jeremy and Mike, aka Packer Superfan. Love to have you guys here. We have our first listener question from Mike. He says, "Is it true that Love cannot be extended until after May of 2024?" So Ken Ingalls is the guy who was tweeting about this, and the way I understand it is that it has to do, I think, with the fact that Love is still technically on a rookie deal. So the part of the CBA that Ken Ingalls screenshotted and tweeted out was talking about this clause here that says, provided all salary cap requirements are met, that contracts for a player can only be renegotiated or extended as long as the contract of the veteran player cannot increase the salary during the terms of the original terms of the contract for a period of 12 months after the player's most recent contract renegotiation. So since he's still on his rookie deal and they didn't add a ton of void years, and we are less than 12 months out from that renegotiation, they have to wait until that date has passed, and it's 12 months and 1 day since the last renegotiation to extend him. So there you go. Thank you, Ken Ingalls, for looking that up for us. We don't have to.
Yeah.
So after the snooze fest of that Vikings-Bears game, which was hilarious, I saw some Bears fans were starting to hype up Justin Fields again. Not really sure how they are getting back on that merry-go-round again, but they are. So I went and pulled together his sack, fumble, and interception numbers per drop back. This is what I call the quarterback failure rate. What percentage of plays where you're supposed to drop back and pass the ball does the play end in a failure because of you? And we do have some significant progress from Mr. Fields. In 2021, his rookie season, a whopping 21.3% of his dropbacks ended in a sack, a fumble, or an interception, which is just staggering. In 2022, that got better. It dropped from 21% down to 18.4%. And then this year, 2023, dropped again, similar amount, 18.4 to 15.2%, which finally puts him in the company of the other worst quarterbacks in the NFL this year. Namely, we have, let's see, Sam Howell, 12.6%. Well, I guess it's, Sam Howell, his quarterback failure rate is not quite as high as Fields. Let's see. Who else can we compare him to? Desmond Ridder, 12.9%. No, Fields is still worse than that. Bryce Young, here we go, 13%. No, it's still worse. Zach Wilson, 14.1. Zach Wilson lost his job, and I have been crapping on him since before he was drafted. The worst quarterback in the NFL. And Justin Fields, in year 3, after taking tremendous leaps of improvement for 3 straight years, still worse than Zach Wilson. It's incredible. But I did find that Jordan Love is in relatively good company. So here's where some of the other good young quarterbacks rank. Of course, Pat Mahomes, 5.6%, absolutely phenomenal. Shouldn't shock anybody. Josh Allen surprised me a bit with just how good his numbers are, because I think of him a little Brett Favre kind of turnover prone. Really not bad at all. 6.6%. This is the second best that I could find. CJ Stroud, 8.4%. So these are all better than Jordan Love. And I did have Joe Burrow, 7.9%, and Justin Herbert, 8.45%. So those are the guys, young superstar quarterbacks that I could find with better rates than Jordan Love. But he's tied pretty much with Trevor Lawrence. So Jordan Love is at 9.15%. Trevor Lawrence is at 9.13. Tua is at 9.15. Pretty much one of the things that I was finding as I was comparing all these guys, you can find some dudes who just aren't doing anything special to elevate the rest of the team, through good plays like Kenny Pickett, but limiting the sort of disastrous mistakes. Kenny Pickett is at 8%, but you just can't find the positives to kind of make up for it. But pretty much across the board, if you're at like 10% or worse, you're pretty much not a good quarterback. I did find Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts are both over 10%. But I do think both of those guys, there are a lot of questions a lot of the time, like even though they're generally considered really darn good quarterbacks, it's certainly not a unanimous opinion. And you'll find a lot of people who say that Jalen Hurts is being carried by the rest of his offense. But the fact that Jordan Love is basically neck and neck with Tua and Trevor Lawrence was quite surprising to me. I felt like he's had a lot more of those disastrous plays than those guys have. And this is why I like to have comparisons, put things into context. The question that I have is Jordan Love's amount of special, all right, the special plays that he makes, are those on the same tier as those other guys, or does he fall a little more, toward the dangerous Kenny Pickett territory? Ryan, thoughts on, congrats on limiting the negative. Thoughts on the positive from Jordan Love?
My first question is, what's a Bucks game? But aside from that, I think Jordan Love is he makes a lot of. Somebody had I was working on Packing It After Dark before we started this, but they kind of compared him to Brett Favre, and I think that holds true because he is a kind of a big play machine. He likes to take shots a lot. I know Rodgers kind of wanted to do that a lot, but it just didn't really feel like his identity. But Jordan seems to be a guy that wants to do that all the time. So I really, really like his, I don't want to say upside because that's not the word I'm trying to look for, but the big play creation that he has in him. And we're starting to see that and see it more consistently, I guess, with the big shots, but also just like that touchdown pass to Jaden Reed, fitting it in between defenders. So I don't know, man. I think he's going to have a lot of those. We're already seeing a big uptick in his big time throw percentage, which is obviously higher than Justin Fields because he sucks. But no, I like what Jordan's doing. That was kind of a concern early on. Is he just a check down guy? I know he wants to throw it deep down the field, but if he can't, you got to turn him into Justin Fields, throw screen passes all day long. But now that he's starting to connect on it, it kind of just feels like every game you just got to kind of buckle up because he's just going to be throwing mortars out there 24/7.
Yeah, you pointed out Jordan's big time throw percentage is increasing. That's definitely true. Over the last 3 weeks, we've got basically his three of his 5 highest big time throw percentage games all came in the last 3 weeks, which is good because he's got a bunch of games earlier in the season, mostly in the middle of the season, that have 0 big time throws. And if you average it out across the whole season, he's high teens. If you filter out, like Kyle Trask has played 1 snap, Mike White has played 3 snaps. If you filter out the guys who basically don't really play, Jordan is sitting at around like 17th in the league average on the season for big time throw rate. Yep. Jake, what's your answer about the big time throw, special play, playmaker, gunslinger, that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean he definitely is that. He must be somebody who's like, man, how high can I make my EPA per play go? Like he is definitely that type of player where he's like looking at the EPA per play stuff and he's like, all right, how high can I make this? Like he is a big game hunter. There is no doubt about it. Like he has that level of aggressiveness to his game, and I think that's great. I think the question we had through 4 or 5 weeks was like, okay, this is cool. Like you're doing this, and we see the EPA per play look really good. The question is, can you just be more consistent with your on target percentage? And he has done that, and I think it's good to see. I think the question I have is just building more consistency, under 9 yards with the on target percentage, giving receivers a chance to make some plays after the catch. Like it is very clear that short accuracy, that short on target percentage is the struggle right now. But when you look at the big time throws, where he kind of sits amongst the league, if you're just looking at just straight raw counting stats with the big time throws and the turnover worthy plays, he's at 18 and 11. There's 2 other players I see on this list at 18 and 11. One of them you might like, one of them you might not like. The one guy I think many will like, CJ Stroud. Same thing, 18 big time throws, 11 turnover worthy plays. It just so happens that maybe Stroud's getting a little bit luckier and the turnover worthy plays aren't turning into picks, right? He only has 5 on the year. And obviously, Jordan Love's big time throw rate is a little bit higher. Obviously, Stroud has thrown, I believe, 21 more passes. So, it is, slightly better. But the other name that has 18-11 is Russell Wilson. You take that for what you will.
Well, I mean, Russ has been playing significantly better recently. And
oh, yes.
If you look at where those big time throws and turnover worthy plays have come from, I think it's pretty heavily weighted toward recent games for those big time throws. I mean, he had, I think maybe I sorted this the wrong way. He did have one monster game in week 3. There was that Miami game where, what are you going to do in that stinking situation where it's like they put up like 77 points on
big game hunt?
But he had 4 big time throws and 1 turnover worthy play in that game. I think that, look at the rest of these recent, since like week 6, he's never had more than 1 turnover worthy play in a game, and he's had 2 with 0. So
yeah,
I think Russ is playing a little bit better than our memes anyways.
Yeah. I will say he is also, like, if you look like just kind of around the kind of cluster you might put him in with like the big time throw percentage and the turnover worthy play percentage, you're kind of, you've put yourself in a range with the likes of Patrick Mahomes for one. Lamar Jackson is definitely in there at 17 and 12. Like the names around that mark, not bad company to be around per se. Joe Burrow's at 17-9. Like it's just two stats to look at, but like it's not bad company. And you could tell like the turnover luck hasn't benefited him now. However, if you broke down all 11 turnover-worthy plays, there are a couple that you're like, man, this is not good. But there's obviously the one that I think a lot of people will bring up is, you got Romeo Doubs kind of freelancing, right? Thinking it's the scramble drill. And Jordan Love clearly did not think that against Detroit in the first game. And lo and behold, there's a pick because of that miscommunication. So obviously you could kind of dive further into these and look at maybe every throw potentially. But I think, as you said, he's trending in the right direction. He's doing a great job of, being more on target with a lot of these sort of big time throws, right? And it's just good to see him cutting down on, I think, either just not seeing underneath defenders or, not, making sure that, we corners and off coverage aren't closing on his throws. I think it's also a testament to LaFleur and kind of the looks that they're getting themselves into. But you've clearly seen, like we've been talking about, it's all trending in the right direction. Obviously, like we said, we want to see it, for this final stretch, but it's really nice to see.
Since week 8, Jordan Love is 8th overall in big time throw percentages, 11-4 big time throw to turnover worthy play ratio. So that's obviously much more in line with what we're hoping to see from him. So, all right, is this going to continue? I have a much more important thing to discuss.
Yeah.
And that is this taco, Ryan, that you tweeted. Holy cow. How many pounds do you think that, first of all, what kind of meat is that? It's not
I think that's a brisket flat.
How many pounds do you think that is? Like 3?
That's a lot. I don't know, but I want that.
Like they found like the tiniest possible tortilla. It's
Yep.
like,
Exactly. Hey, you don't want the burrito one. It clearly says a taco.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Any bigger than that, it's not really a taco anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to go the taco size.
But my thing is, like, looking at it, it clearly still, like, that is a taco. So, like, what if we can look at this and clearly identify that it is a taco?
Sandwich?
Then what is the minimum requirements to make something a taco?
I mean,
Wrapping a tortilla around it, apparently.
it's true.
All right.
Could make a hot dog a taco. I don't know.
Here's the face palm of the week I found from at New York Jets TF Media. He says, I'm seeing some Jets fans ready for Aaron Rodgers next season and planning accordingly. I see others saying, forget Rodgers. We need to start over and draft our QB of the future. But why not both? Writes Harrison at New York Jets TF Media. Aaron Rodgers is under contract next season. He wants to run it back and prove he is still great. Why not draft the kid you think will be our next franchise QB anyways? But instead of starting him immediately, have him sit behind, learn from, and be mentored by Rodgers. That can only help our next rookie QB, whoever he is. And so the conversation then spiraled with all the Jets fans talking about this is a fantastic idea. And the quote that people have been passing around is, Rodgers will understand. So there's that. There's also
so good, bro.
There's also, hey, we need to move on from all of Aaron's buddies and Hackett. And Aaron will understand because he wants to win a Super Bowl. I didn't think it was going to sink in this quickly for Jets fans.
It's amazing how they're just reliving our entire existence from however many years ago that was. You know, like just draft the quarterback, let him sit, and then they do it, and then Rodgers is mad, and then you split into two camps about should we have drafted that guy and upset Rodgers, who's clearly the reason we're winning. You should have built around Rodgers. This is our Super Bowl window. You could have got, T. Higgins or whatever wide receiver is the guy that would have fixed it. Then you got the other camp that sticks to their guns and says that would have been the right decision. I mean, it's down to the line. It's like a sped up version of our entire lives.
We have another Jets guy, the VP of journalism at Knight Foundation. Not really sure what that is. He says that he formerly wrote for Washington Post, ESPN, and AOL. Okay. It does seem obvious, writes Jim Brady, that the Jets need to tell Rodgers two things. One, you will not come back in 2023. And two, you are not the GM. Hackett has to go. Lazard has to go. Cobb has to go. Boyle has to go. Take it or leave it.
Well, that's not how you treat a player. That's really mean, and you shouldn't treat people that way.
Wait a minute. If this is a business, hang on a second.
I like the you will not come back in 2023. Like
it wasn't a publicity thing that he even thought about coming back. Right? Like it wasn't like, oh, someone tweeted it. I'm so mad. I should.
Well, and everybody wanted
grabbed it for the show.
Everybody wanted Aaron, put on IR in 2022 when it was obvious that he couldn't throw the football with his broken hand.
Indeed.
Like, hey, can we get Jordan Love some reps? Oh, heck no.
Why would we do that?
Rodgers will not be benched.
Stupid.
Oh no.
I like to take it or leave.
Is Jordan Addison their T. Higgins? Many are asking.
I don't know, because there's another comparison, which is I didn't like either one of those guys pre-draft.
Well, it wasn't about you, JJ.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not about you.
About me.
No, it's about the Jets fans. Right?
Well,
who is their T. Higgins, not your T. Higgins.
I'm just surprised that the Jets fans are bold enough that they want the drafter of Zach Wilson to go pick them another quarterback.
Well, I think the question is 2024, who's going to be the T. Higgins? Who's the wide receiver they're going to pass on to take a quarterback?
Well, Keon Coleman. It's about as good as a comp for T. Higgins as it gets, honestly.
So they're going to take big body Sanders over Keon Coleman.
It's possible.
There you go.
JJ McCarthy. Over Keon Coleman.
Oh,
JJ's head is spinning right now at the thought of that.
Zach Wilson and JJ McCarthy on the same roster. Oh boy.
I did see a lot of those tweets.
For Will Levis too.
Yeah, I did see a tweet by one of the guys I often talk to in the draft space saying that JJ McCarthy is in fact Midwest Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson, Midwest Zach Wilson. I don't know what you want to call Tim Boyle. We'll make up something for what type of Zach Wilson he is. But can you imagine? Also, there's the offensive line of it all. Like there's kind of that. Also, there's the problem there. But no worries. Aaron can come back if they're 6 and 7. After watching Zach Wilson get just pummeled. No problem.
Can you freaking imagine if in the draft they get a quarterback and then Rodgers comes back with no additional help at either wide receiver or offensive line? Oh my! They will freaking burn that stadium to the ground.
Also, apparently to Aaron, the MetLife turf, not a problem.
Yeah.
I would like to reverse the conspiracy at 12, the complicated fella, and say, what are you doing? Who is paying you to say this? Is Woody Johnson paying you to say this? The turf's fine. No problem.
I'm a little surprised to see to not see David Bakhtiari going after Aaron for that.
Yeah, what's up with that? I need Bach to call him a shill for Woody Johnson right now.
Right.
NFL memes tweeted out all of
great question.
Well, not all, because you can't fit them all in one graphic, but the top Aaron Rodgers guys in New York right now and how they're failing, and pointing out that Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb are healthy scratch and they have no stats on the year. They have Billy Turner calls him an absolute turnstile, which is a fantastic new term. I always called him Saloon Door Billy. But turnstile works pretty good too.
It's a great term. Yes, it is a great term.
But since we're
I've seen
talking,
Evan Neal called that so many times this year. It's very funny.
since we're talking about the draft, Mike
Okay.
sent in a fantastic question. Say the Packers win 9 games and pick at number 15. He says, parentheses, yuck. Who should they target in that range?
Do you want the most chaotic answer possible?
Yes, please.
I would love to give you it.
do it.
It's gonna be another edge rusher. Unless they take Cooper, which look, we all, everybody, the chat knows.
Yep.
It's gonna be driving that bus for months.
Packernet Derailed is about
15.
to sponsor an NIL deal for Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, that's fine. He can be a returner as well, as long as he doesn't throw up invalid fair catch signals. That'll be great.
We are going to start spreading rumors about his S2 scores
Yeah.
to make sure that he falls to wherever we are in the draft, probably pick 32.
Yeah.
Make sure that we get him.
Listen, it would honestly, I hope he comes back healthy from the foot injury. It would very much benefit the Packers if he did not test, because those numbers will be very good. And I think a lot of teams will take notice, especially because he played safety, nickel, and all of that in 22. They haven't really done that with him in 23. I think they've gotten better production from other places in the secondary where they were like, oh, we need you for this and this next week. And then after that, they let him play corner most of the year. But like we've seen the nickel position matter a lot more. And when he can do like everything and test the way that he might be getting out of that question a little bit. So let's throw Latu in there if the medical concerns are fine. Because he just I saw this during the show. He is going down to the Senior Bowl. There will not be a tackle that can stop him down there. No one will stop him. If they do, their stocks jump in 2 rounds, like just for 1 rep. Like it could be a bloodbath. So,
Jake, do you ever check my favorite website, NFLmockdraftdatabase.com?
yes, absolutely, all the time.
Your boy Jerzon Newton is sitting at 15.
Yes, he is.
I feel like this is perfect.
I wonder if he's a little small for them at 295, just a little bit. And if they like, I know we've talked a lot about like, oh yeah, let's, it'd be kind of maybe worth our while to move on from Kenny Clark. I'm not sure they're going to.
Yeah,
that would be
Ryan,
the question.
Ryan, I want you to make your pick for 15, and I'm going to give you 2 options. You can either
he can join the party here.
No, listen. You can either go with the chaos option, or you can go with what does your gut say about who they will take?
Oh, I see. I mean, Jerzon Newton does make a lot of sense. It kind of fits it's defense, it's defensive line, it's a position of need. It's technically still a pass rusher, which we know that they want. I just think all the way down the line, as much as the only thing that makes it seem like they wouldn't do it is that I really want them. But aside from that, I think it checks every single potential box. And I think the undersized thing works to his advantage insofar as, like, if he was 320, I'd be thinking like Gutekunst's gonna be like, nah, he's too fat. Like I need a pass rusher. Like I couldn't care less if you stop the run. I just need a quarterback killer. And I think that they'll probably see that with him. And if he happens to stop the run, I mean, I guess that's fine, but we don't really tolerate that around here. So
I'm trying to think, Ryan, like he plays as out of control as Devontae Wyatt does.
Yeah, right.
like the missed tackles, it's kind of the same thing. So they might like him. I agree though, really quick on like people are gonna want T'Vondre Sweat from Texas. I know they are. 362. I don't think so, folks.
Yeah.
I would just don't get your hopes up on that. Sorry to interrupt though.
I'm just trying to think if there's a different, better chaos option. And edge does make sense just because there's so many of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't know where they're all going to fall, but I'm scrolling through that website, Mock Draft Database, and it's just like, mid, early, late-ish. There's just edge rushers peppered all throughout here.
Would
So I
they
could
pass
definitely
on
see that. I
Jared
mean, it's like,
Verse?
yeah, edge, wide receiver, and corner, like between 10 and 25 is just like that's all there is. So yeah, I mean that would be the one thing where I could definitely see, because they can't pass up if there is a guy that they think is a premier elite pass rusher and that just fell into their lap. They're not going to pass it. Not for a decent wide receiver. They're not going to do that.
No. And will they drink the Kool-Aid? That's the other question.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Yeah. Because
If he's still around by their pick, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really torn on what they're going to think about corner, because like my mind is like, yeah, they should absolutely do that. The problem is there's going to be, you got that feeling all the time that there's going to be value that Goody sees that he's gonna be like, well, no, I don't want to like just, position fill. Like there's going to be somebody there that he likes that fell to that spot that he's like,
Mhm.
I cannot pass. And it might, like, Latu might be that guy. There's a chance, because like we said, they may avoid him because he obviously medically retired with the neck injury. But man, like him, Jared Verse, there's going to be like, his head's going to be spinning with how many guys he's going to be like, can I have 8 guys on the line one play and just like everybody go get the quarterback? Like there's going to be fantasies just swirling in his head.
There's just going to be nothing but NASCAR package all day long. Just nothing but edge rushers all across that defensive line.
What is run defense?
Yeah.
We won't need it. There's 8 guys on the line.
So I do think that cornerback makes a ton of sense. And I also think that a lot of the corners in this class are very similar to each other. It'll be interesting once we get some official measurements from the combine and from pro days. I think Denzel Burke sticks out to me as being one of the faster corners in this class, but there's a couple others that are very intriguing as well.
Yeah.
But I do think I know where they're going. It's with the chaos and what my gut says.
Does it
Because I
involve
think
a
that-
certain player falling there
No,
that may not fall there, but might also?
no, I think most people would expect this player to still be there at 15 or to go
Okay.
in that range.
Okay.
So this is a pick that would upset many, especially me,
Excellent.
because
You are upset?
because the Packers have a way of doing things, and I think that Jordan Love can play very well the rest of the season and get
Oh God.
the majority of the fan base pretty darn well bought in.
Oh, God's sakes.
And then come draft day, Goody's going to stick to his guns, and he's going to draft the player that he thinks is the best. And if that player is a quarterback, I don't think he's going to hesitate.
Oh, man.
He's not going to hesitate at all. And
You're right. I do hate it here.
McCarthy, JJ frickin' McCarthy is going to be a Green Bay Packer. And because here's the thing. Anytime I'm like fully bought in on what Goot's doing, he throws a wrench in there that is so hard for me to swallow. And I would struggle so much with having JJ McCarthy in the same room with Jordan Love and know, holy cow, we've got this QB competition. Jordan's trying to prove he's the guy long term. The whole fan base is torn. They got to pick a side. Which quarterback do they want?
No,
I
they
think this
know
is where they're going.
incumbent. Everybody's very pro incumbent.
And
Green Bay.
McCarthy so very much fits like the Drew Lock mold. Come on, Jake. Tell me
You're hurting
that I'm
him over
wrong
here.
about
I don't
JJ
like this
McCarthy being
at
the next
all.
Packer.
I don't like this at all. Okay. I really don't like this at all. I don't even, it's too early for this. Can we just talk about like the 2 tackles, the right tackles that we know are like too big for them, that like, oh yeah, let's, they surprised us. Woohoo. I don't want this quarterback stuff going on unless it's the LSU kid.
I'll do you one better though. Because they're gonna take McCarthy.
Nix.
They're gonna take McCarthy, but
Oh, and then
like Malik Neighbors or somebody is gonna be sitting right there. One of the top wide
I would
receivers
lose
is
my
still going to be there.
mind. I would,
Whoever
I would-
tests
And JJ,
tests the worst.
You guys
The
just
guy with
bet.
crazy good college production, poorish testing numbers.
Oh, that
Everybody's
that would
in
be
love with.
Neighbors.
That's who they're going to pass on.
Listen, I think if they took McCarthy with the Neighbors on the board, I would just abandon your stream, pull up mine on a separate screen, and you just watch the view count go up. Because I will not be able to contain myself if that happens. I don't. It's like I said, it's way too early for this. I'm not okay now. Now I have to go to sleep at night for the next 5 months thinking about this possibility, and I really didn't want to do that. I'm now just going to just pray that Neighbors test like I think he will, and he'll be off the board because I don't like this at all.
For a $5 dono, I will pitch a much happier scenario. Ryan, poke a hole in my J.J. McCarthy theory here. Why is this not going to happen?
Well, it's funny because like I'm sitting here thinking like that's not going to happen. Like I already talked about, I don't think they're going to find somebody for Jordan, but it's funny because I remember when we drafted Jordan, I didn't believe it. Like I think people in the comments say it might even been you that year, I don't know, but it was like Jordan Love's the guy, and I was like, no, it's not. Like they're not going to draft Jordan Love. That's not possible, and I just didn't believe it until it happened. And you're right. I mean, every year it's something like. They drafted a linebacker. Like, no, they didn't. They didn't draft a linebacker. It's every year you feel like you're not going to set barriers because they're always going to do something that you don't expect.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm not setting barriers. Like, I'll set that one, but I mean, aside from that, I'm not setting any. And then they do it anyways, and it's like, all right, I guess. So yeah, like you said, I'd rather it be an oversized tackle. Maybe a running back or a tight end or something just to really shake things up. Yep. But quarterback, I don't think we need to go there. Let's just hope Jordan Love is really good because if he starts to slip, this is getting more and more real by the day.
Oh, gosh.
We do have a donation here. Just came in from Tyler. $2 dono.
Let's go.
Ryan, make sure you put that in my cookie fund. You got to pay that out eventually, by the way. I mean, it's been
Tyler for
I just thought it looked good
here.
But yeah, weeks.
I do. He says 24, the year Goody doubles down on running backs again. I think you have to take a running back for sure this class because I just think that, like, I don't want to say the wheels are coming off for Aaron Jones, but like it is
probably say it
very clearly time to find his successor. And I like AJ Dillon, but he's not the guy. He's a nice piece in the room. You need your Aaron Jones replacement. But since you sent us a dono, I got to give you my happier scenario. This is still a realistic one. All right. I think
don't say running back at 15, please. I'm on the ledge already. Don't go there. Don't do it. Please don't.
If there's any team in the league that overvalues running backs to the point where they might take one at 15, holy cow, Brian Gutekunst likes running backs way too much. I think defensive back just seems like such an obvious hole for us. Yeah, we like our 7th round picks that we got, but come on, we gotta add some pieces here. So a safety or a corner who is currently down in like the 3rd or 4th round on everybody's boards currently is going to test really, really well. And I can't tell you who it is yet because I don't know, how these guys are going to test. I don't know who's the athletic freak. And then like 2 or 3 weeks before the draft, they're going to start skyrocketing up the draft boards. And they will, on draft day, they'll be found on NFL mock draft database sitting at right about like 50 or 60. And a lot of people are going to be upset because they're going to be like, who the heck is this? I've never heard of this person. But then you dig into it and you're like, actually, this dude's kind of a dog, crazy good testing numbers, big corner or really athletic safety, something like that. I could even see like Mike Sanderstill from Michigan, just a freakish corner. Really small, so I don't know if he should be going in the 1st round, but like absurdly talented. Like, despite his size, Mike is a guy who should get anybody excited. So that's what I think. And if he's from the SEC or Penn State or something, I think that's a plus. So that's my more fun, still very realistic draft scenario for pick 15.
So you're saying they can't be at 60 right now on the like mock draft database. Okay, I think I know the name.
How about Bo Braid?
Oh
Bo
yes. Oh yes. At
Bo
safety.
Braid that's
that
not
work?
a Packer's name though. It's got to sound Packer.
I just say that because he's out of Maryland, and I figured it'd be a good replacement.
Oh,
You know?
is he a safety?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bo Braid.
How low is he on the
He's
board?
sitting at 142.
142.
Highest
All
he's
right.
ever been mocked is 81. Safety out of Maryland. Let's see if we can find any preliminary numbers on this guy.
All right. Definitely
6'1",
looking,
210, 4.52, 40. We don't obviously it's not
No,
combine, but
it's not what you're looking for.
I might have a name
All right,
or two.
do it.
There's one that sits currently at 136 at corner, Kyrie Jackson.
There you go.
Kyrie Jackson is a heck of a Packer name. That is a Packer
Yeah.
name if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Got the president last name.
Cornerback out of
Yeah.
Oregon,
Yep.
President's Club.
6'3", 195.
There you go.
I think that's potentially the name.
Checking some boxes right there.
Yeah. There's a
Jackson
decent
likely
chance.
runs in the low 4.4s
Ooh,
Yeah.
based on
That's
how
the
he
guy.
ran with running back James Cook in the national championship game.
Yeah. This
Wow.
is
Oh,
Oh,
interesting. So this is the same guy? So he transferred from Bama to
from
Oregon.
Bama. Yep.
yeah,
That's
SEC,
interesting.
formerly SEC.
having a great year this year too. It looks like
Yeah.
big jump. So are we saying this is the guy that after the combine ish, he's going to be jumping into like the second round?
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at him potentially as somebody we take way too early, as in the first round that was seen as a second round prospect.
He's a little old. He's 25 years old already.
That's fine. Devontae Wyatt again.
I was going to say Wyatt was 25.
Well, that might be incorrect with the 25, but looks like.
It's a great question. I don't know if he is or not. I mean, it could. I mean, there's probably
Age is like
an
one of the
easier
hardest
name.
things to find on draft prospects.
There's probably an easier name. I mean, he's 22. He's a junior. He's a little bit higher than 136. Jason Marshall Jr. from Florida. Has clocked at 4.4 flat. And is, I believe, what he is 6'1", 198. That might be 21.2 years old. Was 21 in September.
I found
So-
Kyrie Jackson's Twitter, and at the top he has pinned his highlight reel. So I'm just sitting here enjoying that.
Oh yeah, how long is it? Should we play on the stream here?
It's 3.5 minutes. We don't have to do all that.
That's
And it looks like it's a replay of like one play over and over again. Maybe it's 3.5 minutes of one play. I'm not sure.
You get like the slow mo.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right, Jake, give us some running backs here, and you
Yes.
can't do Audric Estime because I'm claiming Estime.
That's fine. I've got a million of them. Which direction would we like to go? Do we want to go?
Packer.
Do we want to go the most? Okay, yeah, we'll
Aaron
go the
Jones.
most obvious. I mean, no, I'm not going most obvious. I think Devin Neal from Kansas is exactly what the Packers are going to look at. So he's got 3.72 yards after contact per attempt. The rushing grades have gotten better every year.
Currently viewed as a day 3 pick.
1,209 yards, 15 touchdowns for Kansas. 6.6 yards a tote. 49.2% breakaway run percentage. If there's ever a compliment to AJ Dillon, who falls within a lot of the parameters that Green Bay looks at running back, that's the guy. If they want to stretch it, which I always highly recommend, by the way, I will never, I will gladly be on that train. Bucky Irving is exactly the foil to AJ Dillon. Exactly the foil. He's a little bit smaller at 5'10", 195, but like, there's just not a dude that I'm like, all right, so if I throw you this ball out in space, or I'm letting you run between the tackles, or I'm letting you run off tackle, like, are you making the first man miss? I don't even have to ask. It's rhetorical. Like, the elusiveness is off the charts. I know. So last season, like we talked about, I think Bijan's elusiveness rating on PFF was like 160, 168. Irving's was 172 last year. And I think it's 152 this year. He also has like 1.44 yards per route run as well. He is involved as a receiver, and he's past the 1,000-yard mark the last 2 seasons for Oregon. Like,
I just
want to stretch it a little.
With all of that said, plus you mentioned Bijan, what do you think about Jonathan Brooks?
Oh yeah, I think he's
every single one of those boxes.
Yes, he does. The question is he going to declare after tearing his ACL?
I got you.
I think there's a chance he goes back. Otherwise, yeah, all the way in on that. Yeah. If he declares still after the tear, all the way in. Yes, I think.
I remember I just looked up his. I forget what I was looking at or whatever, but I was looking at missed tackles, and it's like he's just freaking off the charts. 63 missed tackles, 140 elusiveness. Even the yards per route run, he's at 1.45. So I mean, this guy is. Plus, it's Texas, which last year just got me all jacked up. It's kind of like Illinois with defenders right now. It's just everybody that's there. I'm just going to assume is awesome.
Yep. I cannot believe that if he comes out the 3 in a row of Bijan, Roschon, and Jonathan Brooks is nuts. Trey Benson might be on that train as well. From Florida State, he's got the size, he's got the acceleration that you're looking for. But like, man, yeah. The real question is, are they going to like Braylon Allen? Probably.
So all the guys that we have been throwing out so far are in the top 20 in yards per attempt right now in college football, which is one of my favorite scouting numbers for running backs because it tends to just translate pretty well. Whatever your yards per attempt was in college frequently is pretty darn similar in the pros, which is a weird thing because you would think that the offensive line would really play a big part in that, but the highest guy that we've talked about so far, Devin Neal at 6.6 yards per attempt, Bucky Irving 6.5, Audric Estime 6.4, Trey Benson 6.1, Jonathan Brooks 6.1. I think that's all the guys we mentioned, but those are actually all in the top 15 in yards per attempt. One thing that sticks out to me, and I'm not just trying to hype him because he's my guy, but on PFF, how like you got the blues, but occasionally there's like that like really dark blue that sticks out, and you're like, what the heck? And you realize it's like a dude with like a 99.
Yeah.
Audric Estime has his own shade of blue from all the other running backs. 94.2 overall grade, 94.1 rushing grade. I just get jacked whenever I see that shade of blue because I associate it with Aaron Donald.
That's where
Trent Williams.
That's where Irving was last year. It's in that dark blue.
And Irving still has a 90.9 rushing grade.
He had a 93.4 last year, though. Dude was like, I know. Listen, I know he played. I know it was against Portland, but you put up an 800 elusive rating in a football game, I'm in, baby. Like, just sign me up.
How do you get an 800? I don't understand. How do they calculate that elusiveness?
It is so funny because it's like there's a 40, a 50, a 70. He gets 700. Like, are you just making up these numbers? I don't even know what you're talking about. How do you quantify this?
Like let's put it this way, JJ. He averaged 14 yards after contact per attempt. 14 in that game. Okay. He also had 27 yards per attempt in that game.
Oh my goodness.
He is out of his gourd sometimes. Like,
this is
in terms of like, hey, I'll make you miss. Like, you just don't even try. And like that was the same. Like last year, it was like the same thing. Like, he was one of the most exciting watches over the summer. because you look at games, you go, okay, he played against Stanford. It's like the elusive rating was 585. It's like, yep, no, that's accurate because of how ridiculous it was. Against Washington, it was 323 last year. He just does just stupid things. Like
I feel like if they're going to give you a 700 elusiveness rating, you need to average like 1.1 touchdowns per attempt, per rushing attempt.
Now you got me looking for like the highest one I can find, and then I want to go watch that game and just watch ridiculousness. So right now the highest I've found is a 950. It's Mario Anderson, week 11, so that would be against Vanderbilt. So go watch that because we're almost at 1,000 elusiveness. I don't know.
So that's for one game.
Yeah,
but the highest season long elusiveness rating. So you have Bucky Irving is at number 2 with a 152.1. Your guy Jonathan Brooks is number 3 with 140.1.
He's a beast.
But number 1, this guy has a 91 receiving grade, a 91.7 rushing grade. He's got 1,100 yards, 6.1 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 4 fumbles. That's the red flag there. Out of Boise State.
Oh, Ashton Jonty.
I'm glad that you said that because I was never going to get Jonty out of those letters in his last name.
Freaking monster. Sophomore, but freaking monster. Yeah.
Is he RB1 next year? Actually, more importantly, where will he be playing in 2024 with a huge bag of NIL money?
Oh, Bama with Jalen Milroe.
Oh,
he'll just do the Gibbs thing.
I think
no one will stop.
This dude needs to clean up his fumbles, but he's already my RB1 for 2025.
Jonty's so good. It's not fair. I wish he was in this class. It's not fair. But yes, we're gonna be talking about him a lot.
I'm all in on this elusiveness thing. I'm off on my own here.
Well, but this is the thing. I need to know
how number. I don't know how that number comes about, but boy, it's fun when you see a high number like that.
What I also realize is there's like these weird ones that have a comma. I'm like, what the heck is that? PFF has it cut off. It's actually over 1,000 for some of these. So now it's like, all right, I got it because I just want to go watch these games.
Yeah.
Like this guy only had 8 attempts, but like Abu Sama of Iowa State.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm guessing you know the game.
I don't
so this
know the
is
game, but
it was the last one, Kansas State.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
1,039, which I've seen a higher number, but he had guys with like 5, 6, 7 carries. He had 19 carries, 1,039 elusiveness, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, 16 yards after contact per attempt.
Great snow.
Bijan was number 1 in elusiveness last year, 169.1.
Was he?
I'm just trying to
find. I thought Roshan was higher for some reason. Yeah, I do see that. It's comma 039.
Yeah, it's just that's like there's some kind of glitch or something. There's like a comma 228. Like, why is it comma?
By the way,
that's 1,228.
His total this year is 306.3. That's absurd. That's his elusives for the year.
Yeah.
Man, the people are just joining are probably going to be like, what
right? I
completely forgot. Why are we talking about?
I'm like all geeking out about this
rating for like running backs that aren't going to be eligible until 2020.
Not even going to be drafted. They just had one good game.
Yeah.
PFF's definition of elusive rating is a PFF signature stat measuring success and impact of a runner with the ball independently of the blocking.
Yeah.
Found a new high. We got Greg Desrosiers, Massachusetts.
Never heard that name.
Okay,
1,053. You have now stumped the truck here.
Against Merrimack, had a 94 grade. 10 carries, 162 yards, 3 touchdowns.
It's a real shame. I was going to record that game.
Nine missed tackles forced. He has 14 on the year, but 9 in that game.
Oh, man.
That dude probably sucks, but just had the greatest day of his life.
And we're thrilled for you.
Just had an Al Bundy day.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's so good. So, yeah, there's a lot of great backs that, middle rounds. are going to be, guys to look at for the bat. I mean, there's one that's like a lot of the metrics aren't great, but like when he breaks one, the elusiveness isn't that bad actually. Oh, please tell me one of these is against Bama. Oh, it's not. That's a shame. 24 elusiveness against Bama. That's tough. But Jalen Wright has been clocked at 23.6 miles per hour from Tennessee before. Man, we got 7.4 yards per attempt this year. He's something special. If there's just a giant lane to run through, it's great news. No.
Final questions. We're gonna
wait. Is that the final question?
Tyler's question from
that
20
is the final
minutes ago?
question. Oh, here we go.
Well, no, I think we kind of basically said yes, and then just threw about 18 names, and then got lost in elusiveness rating. But
Do you
had
know
so many running backs?
this name? Blake Watson.
yes,
Blake Watson.
formerly.
Blake Watson
Oh gosh,
was number 8 in elusiveness rating last year.
Oh, don't tell me what school he played for last year. He's obviously a Memphis guy this year, and I can't think of the school. Oh man, it's on the East Coast. Oh, it's Old Dominion, I think.
There
There
Right?
it is.
It
Nailed
is? Okay. Excellent.
So Blake Watson, week 3, had 1,140 elusiveness, 15.2 yards after contact per attempt, 8 missed tackles forced, 16.9 yards per attempt. Anybody want to watch Memphis versus Navy?
I would
yes,
watch Memphis versus
I
Navy.
Yes.
feel like that's a game that would be fun to watch.
yes,
It feels like
probably going to be
a-
at the
a-
Senior Bowl too.
If you wanted to start a YouTube channel to make running back highlights, we just found your formula. It's right here. Go to elusiveness and just find like the freakiest games you can find on
Dude.
running backs.
Get your Abu Sama video out now.
Right? That's what I'm
from
saying.
Iowa State, because in 2026, we're gonna be looking at that game against Kansas State, and people are like, "Oh, look at the ceiling."
This is just like breaking tackles, breaking ankles, doing crazy stuff. Highlight reel score.
The key would be we'd have to figure out how to display the footage without getting takedown notices and stuff. What sort of platform could we do this on where we can live stream?
Do it on X.
I think you're gonna be in
Probably
better
can do it on
shape
X,
because it's Memphis instead of Georgia, right? Like he's not an Ohio State player. He's not a
So
Michigan.
nobody
player.
cares.
Memphis Navy. Are they concerned? No, probably not.
So
You never know.
So maybe we just try it with a one-time special where hey, we're gonna watch 50 plays, the 50 plays from like the top 4 elusiveness rating games over the last year, depending, live stream that, see if people like it.
So
Put it on
the
X and we're
actual
gonna get donations.
The actual highest, which I didn't count because it's a low attempt count, only 6 running back attempts, but the highest one, Andrew Henry, New Mexico, 1,228.6 elusiveness in that game.
Against Auburn.
Utah State.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Dang. That's still pretty impressive.
You get a heck of a lot of bonus points if you're like a small school taking on a big school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this is a week 11 game, and it's
Say you're Chattanooga against Bama.
exactly.
Just break off a 1,400 elusiveness game against Bama.
Yeah,
How
dude.
many eyes are going to be on that game afterwards? Like, what?
Well, okay, we could make a little digital trophy, one of those the NFTs. Okay, we'll make an NFT trophy,
Okay.
and it's the David and Goliath trophy.
There you go.
Little running back taking down Bama's defenders, 95-yard rushing touchdown.
Dig
I
it.
love it. I love it.
Well, I think the people have spoken. They don't want to ask us any questions because we're a bunch of idiots. So
Send the final ones in unless you really want to hear more elusiveness.
I was going to say,
stats.
ask me a question about elusiveness grades.
What was the elusiveness on that guy that you found that the super low 6 attempts or whatever?
His is 1,228.6.
That's insane. Absolutely insane.
His second highest is a 288.
But there you go. Running backs, Tyler. So many good ones.
See, Tyler, here's what happens when nobody else donates to the stream and you're the only donation. You get
That's all we're going to talk about for a
hour.
half hour.
Yeah.
Get half
That
an hour
$2
of
went a
running
long way.
It
man.
did. It did.
That-
Wow.
You know, but here's the thing: we talked about running backs, but we never actually addressed this question about taking 2 running backs.
yeah, that's true. Well, let's get started.
Yeah. All right. So Estime, that's a great one to start with. I think, big fella, unless they're gonna go like the Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving route, that would be something they would do.
The downside of taking Estime is I feel like you probably don't end up keeping Estime and Dylan long term. So this is
Why?
probably the end of Dylan.
I think you draft Estime and Braylon Allen and extend Dylan. Do you know how many defenses are
Braylon
going to be
Allen.
like, man, we got to play 240-pound backs this week, and then another that's pushing 230? I
My
hate it
absolute
here.
Favorite thing to do is to watch running backs. So now,
Like-
you guys got me so geeked out to check these guys. I just saw how big he is, and it's like, oh, I'm watching that right now on the stream.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Think about
Running backs and
it's
edge
this-
rushers. Those are my
put-
2 favorites.
Put it
to-
this
wow.
way. It's right, like it's December, right? Let's say, if the Packers finish second this year, let's say it's December. You get the Bills coming to town because an AFC East team is coming to Green Bay. And the Bills and the Bills go, all right, so Packers, they sit down at their meeting and they're like, all right, wow. So guys, I have bad news. All right, it's going to be 22 degrees, snow's coming down, and there are 3 backs, 228 plus, that they rotate in and out. They're going to beat the crap out of us this way. Safeties, you better tackle. And then like the safeties are sitting there like, I don't want to. It would be just a great formula for December, January to be like, all right, we got Love, we got these young receivers, we got 3 backs that you do not want to see in the alleyway at all. Like,
We're
just give me
like-
all that.
We got, like the little angel and demon on your shoulder. The 3
Yeah.
of us are the demons sitting on Gutekunst's shoulder
Oh,
saying,
yes.
yeah, you should do all this running back stuff.
Take
Go
all
running
of
back
the
heavy.
backs.
All right, here's my question to you though. What is the Braylon Braylon Allen argument? He is 179th in the country in rushing grade. He's at 77.1. Where is this coming from?
I've got the argument for this. Are you ready?
Hang on, before you say
He's a
anything.
Badger.
He only has a measly 100.7 elusiveness rating.
Okay.
That's peasantly.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Now that we're all elusiveness
Let's-
experts.
Let's bring it back a little bit. All right.
To
I think
Wisconsin roots. That's what you want to do?
No. I think my argument for Braylon Allen basically is going to be kind of the argument that like I think this entire draft sort of presented. Right, where you go, okay, well, 2023 down year, weird scheme change type of thing. Like, look at the previous years, and be like, oh, okay, the rushing grades are pretty good. So, like, because like with Reed, it's like you look at 2021 Reed, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's
I know where we're
excellent.
going.
2021 Wicks, oh my gosh, you see this guy, he's generating so many explosive plays. And you look at Braylon Allen's previous year, and you go, okay, this is the guy we think he is. Boom. There's the argument. Now, okay.
I mean, his previous years were not.
It's
Yeah,
not
there's
exceptional,
neither.
no. I wouldn't say it's exceptional, but that's the argument. Now, I think and the elusiveness rating would back this up. He looks more elusive this year. He's breaking more tackles this year. Right? Like I think
It'd be hard to have a go the wrong way after last year.
Right,
He had a
exactly.
64.8 elusiveness rating.
My issue is I see it there's one of two things. You're only getting one of the two. You're either he's elusive or he doesn't fumble. Like that's legitimately what it is.
You're really selling me on this.
like he either is
Man.
like, all right, I'm a fumbler,
So tempted.
but I'm elusive, or I don't fumble, but I'm not breaking a single
You have to
tackle.
choose.
Which one do you want? You want me to fumble? All right, that's fine. I'll make people miss. You want me? Okay, ball security. All right, no, I'm just gonna run people over.
You're not even a Badger fan, Jake. You're a Fighting Illini.
They don't have any backs to take this year. There's nobody. There's not a. There's also nobody. I'm just saying we have. gone down-
Big Ten West running back, or else.
245, big
We
boy.
have to. Okay, let's see. Let's go down the line.
Are there any Big Ten West programs that have a good running game right now?
I plead the fifth on that one. I don't know if there's anything that Big Ten West is actually good at. I'll be honest.
All right. We finally got our last thing to send us out here. Tyler came in clutch. He said the other thing that makes him believe Goody is going to address running back heavy is all the trade speculation. So he's talking about the Jonathan Taylor thing.
I need you to write that in the form of a question, and then we'll finish the show.
Thoughts?
Okay, that's good.
How's that question?
True.
Yeah, no, I think it makes perfect sense, right? Like the only thing that's going to confirm it even more is when he says, "Man, we really like this running back class. It looks pretty deep across the board." Once he says that, boom, it's over. 3 backs, it is.
Yep.
2 drafted, 1 in undrafted free agency. Like it's gonna be as simple as that. Once he says that,
You know, it would be kind of nice to fix
Nailed
the
it.
running back situation the same way we got Jamal and Aaron to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need a running back. Okay, we're just gonna freaking birdshot it, just right in the middle rounds. We'll get one really good one mid-tier guy, and one that's gonna be cut shortly thereafter.
Who was the third guy they took?
I forget his name. I really liked
oh,
him too.
Devontae Mays.
Mays, yeah.
Devontae Mays. That's
I liked Mays a lot. Didn't he fumble like 3 times in a row and then he was just done, or was that somebody else?
It was just
Is he the-
that was
Is he
that was
Braylon
Mac and
Allen?
Cheese guy with the green hair.
Okay, all right.
7th round pick from 2019. What was his name?
7th rounder from 2019.
7th rounder from 2019. Green hair, Mac and Cheese guy. Dexter Williams.
Dexter?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He
was
he
the-
fumbled.
okay.
He fumbled twice.
Oh wow, no fumbles. Oh wow, Devontae Mays. What an elusive rating to finish. Finish the
It's either
career
really
off.
high or really low. What is it?
I mean it's 122, but he put a 313 up on Weber State, so we like that. So that's good. They will do that though. I do think. Oh, was it Crockett? That seems
Was
like
what?
further back. Tyler put Demaria Crockett. Is that right?
I think it was Mays.
Oh, you
it was
think
the third
Mays
guy in
was
that-
actually that guy?
Mays week 11, three attempts, 2 fumbles.
Yep. There it is.
That's who it was. 3 attempts
Oh,
for -1 yard and 2
yeah.
fumbles.
And
I was
that's it.
real
We're-
excited. I liked Mays a lot, and he finally got his opportunity, and he fumbled on 2 out of his 3 attempts, and he was just done after that. And it's like, dang it,
Tough
Mays! I really had high hopes for you.
That is a tough scene right there.
That's
was that
pretty
the year
brutal.
that soured you for all eternity on 7th round picks?
Maybe. I never thought about it. Maybe it scarred me so deeply that I never appreciated a 7th round pick ever again.
I know the first year, so whoever it was we took before this, the first year that I was like done with 7th rounders and didn't want to hear about them anymore was when we took Kylan Hill, and I was just like, quit talking to me about Kylan Hill. So whoever we took the year before,
Easily my
that's who
favorite pick
soured
of
me
that
on
draft.
7th rounders for forever.
Kylan Hill was easily my favorite pick of that draft. It wasn't even close. It was a
You're an
real,
idiot.
real tough scene. Yes, because the draft as a whole looks super good. By the way, 2021 looks so good.
Maybe he was the best.
It looks so good as a whole. So
Okay, so 2020,
honestly,
In the
McDuffie
7th
might be the
round, we
best
took-
pick.
We took
dude,
Vernon Scott
McDuffie's
and
solid.
Jonathan Garvin. Those are the guys who sour me forever on 7th round.
That's fair.
Who was with
Those
Garvin?
guys.
Vernon Scott.
Vernon Scott. I
Oh,
thought
yeah,
we
Vernon
had
Scott.
2 studs there with those 2
Yeah,
guys.
I remember Vernon
And-
had a big fan base.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Rasheed Walker is easily
he's done it.
the late, the last couple round guy since then who's gotten me any kind of excited.
Yeah, I've been bashing 7th rounders, and our 7th rounders have been stepping up lately. We got
Yeah.
a safety playing, we got a tackle playing. Samore's not been terrible as far as 7th rounders go. Like they're actually out there contributing. I gotta
Jeff
recalibrate
Janis.
a little bit. Janice is special
Yeah.
teams ace, man.
Yeah, Sam Barrington had that little stretch. Not bad.
Maury has played 1 game since week 8. He played 3 snaps.
Caught a
against
pass, didn't he?
Detroit.
Didn't he catch a pass?
He did not catch a pass. His last
Well, I
Catch
thought I saw him
was in
running
week
around out there
7.
somewhere.
he was targeted twice in week 7 and caught 1 of them. He
There
is
you go.
5 of 11 on the season. He had 9 of his 11 targets came in the first 4 weeks. Then he was targeted twice in week 7, and that's it.
There you go.
Attaboy.
And
Still exceeding my expectations for 7th rounders.
Brad
He has-
Jones, everybody's favorite scapegoat, 2009 7th round pick.
he has still 2 career special team snaps. Week 17, 2022.
We could put Malik Neighbors on special teams for some snaps.
Is that your
do
guy
it.
right
Way to
now?
get-
You
Can't
are you,
do it with. Oh yeah, can't do that
Are
with
you all in
McCarthy.
now?
Oh
Hmm.
man, yeah. I mean, his explosiveness grade alone is gonna have him grade pretty high.
How's his elusiveness grade though?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Could he play running back? Yeah. Why not?
All right.
All right, boys, we're going to get out of here. So, everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in. It was a fun little night. Nice to get to celebrate a dub. Follow us on Twitter at JJ Leahy, at Pack_Daddy, and at Jake NFL Draft to stay up to date on all things Packers or ask us questions. Make sure you're subscribed to Packernet on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. Until next time, go Pack, go.